Oh, let me turn the lights on. I'm sorry.
I know my lights are bad. We moved lights around. I don't.
My light keeps falling, and it's just the last thing I want to do is have that thing just spike in the middle of us filming.
Do. Welcome to the Disc Golf Answerman Show. This is Robert's favorite.
Good thing I froze on the screen when
I
I
know.
did that.
We wouldn't have seen your pretty hand signals.
Uh-huh.
Your approving hand signals.
They were at the perfect time.
Is DDO's a Pro Tour, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it has to be.
Oh yeah, because of the MP40 and MP50 and that fuss. Forget about that.
I don't know what that
All
is
right,
about,
so
but
we
it's
are
probably
setting
people
up
crying
for.
because
Thank you
of
for the
being-
thumbs up. What's up, Rice Powell? Reese Powell, Riz.
I would have said Reese.
Wow,
Reese.
dude.
Riz Powell says,
I bet
"Hey
Reese's
yo."
is gonna want to have a pieces of you.
Brody Shell says, "Io."
What's up,
Someone needs to post.
Brody?
Someone needs to post. Io. Reese. Thank
Yeah,
you,
Reese.
for that.
Nailed it.
We will make everybody know that Reese said Reese.
Does
Also-
my mic sound okay? I'm trying to not right in front of me position.
It sounds good. You might
Okay.
say you might be a little louder than Eric Oakley.
Okay.
And I can
gain down if I need to.
You
Bobby.
might because I can only bring you're one source. You both of you are one source into the recording, so I can't adjust you individually.
Okay. I'm gonna. How about that?
Talk, Eric Oakley.
Hello.
Yes, that's great.
Okay.
So,
Brody, it's only because of gain levels, not
Right.
because of
It's only 'cause of
actual
Oh,
volume.
but I'm getting these
No,
gains, baby.
okay, so I need to make a correction and apology to my friends Shane and Jeremy. I called their podcast the Nightly Owl Podcast, and it's
You
Night
screwed
it
Owls,
up.
and it's Night Owls. The Owls Disc Golf Podcast. So I apologize for that.
Wow.
Yeah. So make sure that you check out Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast. And don't just look up Night Owls because there's a lot of Night Owls podcasts, but this is the one you want, the Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast.
I have a question, Bobby, about that. Did you read that incorrectly?
Did I read it incorrectly?
Yeah. Do you need Hooked on Phonics or something? Got 'em.
Hook it on phonics.
Hook
it
Well, hook it for me.
Phonics.
Work it
Phonics.
for me. No, I didn't read it. I
Working
was from
for me.
it was from memory, and as we know, memory goes. Especially now that I'm the big 5-0. That's the gang signal.
Oh, happy
Yeah,
birthday,
5-0.
you old fart! Did
50, bro.
you like
You're
my
so
song I
crazy.
sang?
That what? Oh yeah.
Did you like the song I sang?
Yeah, that was funny.
We decided that our cat that we named Bobby Brown
Mhm.
will have the same birthday.
as me.
Oh, sick.
So not only has Tina and Eric messed up my birthday by saying it's in April and making some people still think it's in April, the GBO joke. Now I have a cat that shares. So now the cat's taking away my limelight as far as birthday celebrations.
See, here's the thing. I
Dude, the
love pranks
GBO,
like that.
the April birthday is hilarious. Like that's
It's very
funny.
good.
I don't care
That was
who
good.
you are.
I tried to do the same thing at Jonathan Nicholson's wedding, where I was really trying to like start a rumor that just is so incredibly insane. I think I might have mentioned this before, but that he didn't believe left-handed people were real.
Yeah.
So I want more of that to happen in the world, where we just start a rumor that is so harmless. Like Bobby's birthday being in April is like the perfect example of that. Stuff like that I think would be the most fun to do. It's just kind of.
Thank you for the birthday wish, David. I appreciate that. My birthday was actually on January 8th on Saturday. Had a great time. Had some good time with family.
It was also great because it was our cat's birthday, Bobby
It was
Brown.
your cat's birthday.
The cat
It was Bobby
birthday.
I went out
Bobby Brown.
to
Go to the
my
Cypress.
favorite Torchy's Tacos.
Scoff answer, man. So sick.
Oh, nice.
Did you go to Torchy's?
Oh heck yeah! You went to Torchy's Tacos. Had me a trailer
Yeah,
park
dude.
and a what is it? What's the shrimp one? Hippie chick? No, that's the chicken one. The Baja
Tipsy
shrimp.
chick.
Baja shrimp.
Oh, Baja shrimp is the yeah, that's the shrimp one.
Yeah, I had the
Sorry,
shrimp.
Tipsy chick is one of the tacos of the month.
Yeah, and then had I tried the taco of the month, and I have to say, I didn't like it.
Which one was it?
It's the Midnight Cowboy, I think.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Nah.
So
Pass.
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
I'm good.
I've also had the hillbilly queso, and that's where they put the chorizo in there, right?
Yeah.
Right. Pass.
I'm gonna say something
You're-
about Torchy's, and if you're a Torchy's employee or you represent, or if the CEO of Torchy's tunes into our podcast, I have to apologize.
should.
But I have to say, I don't like Torchy's tacos chorizo.
Chorizo.
I've had it in their queso. I've had it on some of their tacos, and I don't care for it.
Yeah.
They need
I
they
feel
need a new,
as if-
new formula.
Chorizo is one of those things that is very difficult or very easy to screw up, where I feel as if a lot of the times it ends up like crazy greasy, or it's the wrong level of spice. Like it's just I feel like I have to agree. Like I got it once and then have yet to ever get that type of queso again.
Thank you for Jason for the kind words. Hello to the best disc golf podcast of all time. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't.
Arrived.
True. Yeah, I don't know why you would mess up Torchy's queso by adding anything else to it. Like it's perfect
Exactly.
as is.
No, the
It
queso's
doesn't need
perfectly
anything
fine.
else.
Oh yeah.
No, it
Also,
really doesn't.
Reese,
It's
Torchy's is
fantastic.
not like Fuzzy's.
Oh, it's way better.
Yeah,
Fuzzy's doesn't
I
even
said,
come
how dare you?
close.
How
Like-
dare you?
Fuzzy's is like going to a place and you're like, oh yeah, we're having this family dinner and we made tacos, and that's the type of tacos you get at Fuzzy's Tacos. Like,
Look, like it's fine.
Oh,
Like Fuzzy's is
oh,
fine.
and you
if,
get
if
to
it's
make
the
it from
only
the own
taco
shell.
place. Yeah, like if it's the only taco place that's around you, it's fine.
not bad.
Like it's fine.
I
But
will
it's
say
just not,
Fuzzy's
It's just not Torchy's.
breakfast tacos though. Fuzzy's breakfast tacos.
Are they good?
I've never had that.
That's
I've never had the
what you
breakfast
get
stuff.
there.
Yeah.
So
I dig it.
don't
I'm
mess
about
around
it.
with their normal tacos.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is Fuzzy's is like this is okay. It's a good taco, but
It's fine.
Torchy's has got like
Yeah.
I call it the fusion taco place. Fusion
Yeah,
taco.
Okay,
fusion
that's
is
fine.
right.
That's solid.
Fusion.
All right, so
Fusion.
let's get on with the show. Let's get on with
Reese,
the show.
Reese said, "Oh my, what have I done?"
done, yeah.
when he commented. I like that. That's funny.
Reese, I may accidentally hit the ban
That's right. The band
and
hammer.
not the add to broadcast. So be careful with what you say.
The band hammer falls heavy on the head of those that
know.
spite Torchies.
Anyway, okay, all right, let's get on with the show, folks. We've got we've got some stuff to do. So here we go. Ready? Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, and I have with me my amazing co-hosts, Eric Oakley and Robert McCall. Before we started recording, gentlemen, we started talking about Torchy's Tacos, and now I am again hungry for Torchy's Tacos, although I've had it just a few days ago.
In your
As a
face.
matter of fact, in the last week, I had Torchy's Taco twice.
Nice.
Twice.
Oh, cool.
That's a
I had
W.
found a Torchy's Taco gift card that I had gotten for Christmas that I'd forgotten that I had it. And so I went to the library to get some work done, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to Torchy's Taco to get an early dinner, and it was amazing. And it was just as amazing the second time in the same week. So great stuff.
Dude,
all around.
yeah, it was.
Yes, it was. It all is and always will be. So we are here for the January 10th episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. Lots to talk about. If you are watching it right now, thank you so much for tuning in live. We want to ask a big favor of you. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet.
yeah.
Give us a big old thumbs up so we know that you are
6:35.
having a good
Man,
time.
I still have
Are we
a
at
bag ready
6:35?
to
Yes,
be-
we still have
this is
a
crazy.
Dynamic Discs.
I'll
Is it
try
like a
and-
Combat Ranger?
It's a Combat Ranger. I'm gonna make a
Combat
post about
Ranger.
it tomorrow on my Instagram.
Yes.
I'm
Once we
giving
hit
this
1,000,
away.
we're going to give away to somebody who follows us on YouTube. So make sure you
Mm-hmm.
follow us on YouTube and get us to 1,000 subscribers. We would truly, truly appreciate that. Gentlemen, how was your week?
A pretty good week. I kind of got my feet back under me with work because the first the week right before Christmas,
Christmas.
the week right
Christmas.
before Christmas, the week right before Christmas, like nobody's in the office. So even if I wanted to call people and prospect, you're just not going to get people. And because of the way that Christmas fell this year, it was kind of the same the week after Christmas. And so last week I was like, all right, I can finally do some things. So get into the swing of things. Played pickleball for the first time in a little while, and it was great. I did not play well, but it was fun to be back out there. So we're chilling. How about you, E-Rock?
Yeah, what about you, A-Rock?
I played some disc golf. I was very tired. I kind of been feeling it a little bit lately. I've been doing videos for the Building the Bag segment, along with trying to incorporate some rounds of golf, which means that I'm making up for my field work by throwing more shots on the course, and in turn that's making me really tired. So I got to be smarter about how I'm making use of my practice time, but this week should be able to settle down. I have a new video series that I'm going to be starting with Paige Pierce. The first episode will be with Paige Pierce, and I'll be looking to do it with a lot more touring pros in the future, so it's going to be very fun. I'm excited to start that this week. But all in all, I got to go watch the Jubilee in Fairhope, Alabama. I got to watch Caddied for Tina, watched Paige Pierce, Madison Walker, Tina, Chloe Alice, and Amelia. I don't remember her last name. She was a very nice person and a good player. Watched them play some sweet golf, it's super interesting to be on the other end of being a caddy and or spectator in a way, rather than playing. So that was eye-opening and very, very fun. The ladies killed it. It was a good battle. It was very cool to watch, and there's a reason why a bunch of ladies came out to support it, and it was for a really good cause, to support a local player and do some good things. So it was awesome to see.
I was back in Emporia last week. I got to go to the press con. What?
Boom roasted. I said sorry. Because Emporia. I don't know. It was probably cold, and I assumed
it was cold,
it was
and it actually snowed while I was there. So I went back there to prep the house because the house is Airbnb house. In fact, I had I don't know if maybe that person doesn't want me to say their name, but someone had reached out that was preparing for the Dynamic Discs Open, a high-profile player. And they were like, "Is this your house?" And I was like, "Yeah," but they didn't book it because they needed more beds. But anyway, I was preparing the house for the next Airbnb guest. So if you want to stay in Emporia and you want to stay at Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze's house, just look it up on Airbnb. You can stay there for DDO or any other time.
Do I get a DGAM discount for
not.
DDO week?
You do not.
Absolutely not.
This is booty, son.
Hey,
that is
I gotta make that money.
I was gonna say we gotta pay them bills.
So I was there for the press conference to welcome Kona and Ricky to DD, and it was pretty cool to see the press conference. They had like 5,000 live viewers, so it was pretty nice. But the best part was being able to catch up with Danny and Anthony. Always loved working with them, so it was really cool to catch up with them a little bit. And I spent a little time just in Emporia working because I can work remote, which is awesome, and then cleaning the house. And then I came back here to celebrate my birthday with my folks and my kids. So that was fantastic. Oh, here we go.
Dude, the big 5-0, Bobby.
Yeah,
you did
big
it.
5-0.
You made it.
I survived. So this is interesting. Chaser seems to think he has some insider info. My buddy was driving in Ohio and came upon the Discraft RV. He pulled alongside of it, and Chris Dickerson was driving it. Very interesting. Very interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about
he could just be doing like an off-season job.
That's true.
Type thing.
Yeah.
Just helping transport the RV. I mean, he's not with Prodigy anymore.
He's
got to find a way to make money somehow.
Yeah.
He's like a U-Haul driver, not a U-Haul driver, like a moving truck driver, I guess is what it would be.
Nice. Okay, so anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about other things that are happening as far as the 2022 player shakeup in disc golf. But first, we're gonna try a little bit format where we're gonna have a little different segment. I should have thought of some. I should have created some noises for it. We'll just use this as our segment, our segue into Eric Oakley's teaching.
I can see Robert's eyes already rolling.
Go ahead, Eric. There's.
Oh, nice. So you had asked.
I know that this is a family-friendly
nice
show, but I have words for you, Bobby. I'll tell them to you afterwards.
So he asked me because a big part of what of my growth and what I've been able to accomplish has been directed through field work. And field work for me is just this thing that I go and do to to get the most out of my practice and get the most out of my time throwing a disc. Because if I go and play a course and I release a disc on what feels like a clean line, I can hit a tree and then I can get a negative impact in my head. So field work allows me to throw that shot, see it fly completely, and have a better idea of how my form is working and how shots are feeling and what I want them to feel like. So that's one reason why we do field work. But the things that I focus on when I go to, and am doing field work is I'm trying to break it down to simplifying and focusing on one, maybe two things. So I've gone to the field and focused in on just timing and my hit point being the only thing I'm focusing on. So if timing and hit points will usually be I will put something that I'm trying to throw over and making sure that I'm planting in the same spot as well. So that's super important to keep continuing hitting the right place. So it helps me with my footwork and timing to making sure that I'm planting behind my mini or my disc. And then also seeing the disc fly over whatever I've put out in the field. And I put that 100 feet out, not 300 feet out, because that's like a target at that point. 100 feet out, so that a disc 100 feet out of my hand is flying relatively close to that. So that helps me simulate a gap hitting as well. Another thing that I will do when I go to the field is that I will try and shift my angle and help me work on different shots. So a good field that I have in my nearby that I like to use is throwing one direction, it is a straight shot. And then I can go pick up all my discs and then throw back, and I can go to different sides and basically put branches and obstacles in the way for me to start shaping shots around. So one great spot that I have puts me here, puts a tree far on the right, and puts a bushy tree on my left side. Which what this does is now I have 3 trees off in the distance that I can aim at. One is a dead straight shot, easy to get to. One is a late turning shot to the right, and then the other one is just a pure hyzer around that bushy, those bushy branches. So I will never go to that spot and say, all right, this one's to this one, and then this one's to that one, and then this one's to that one. It's like I will go to that spot and I say I'm throwing every single disc to the middle tree, and I will take all the discs in my bag or what I'm working with, even the stuff that might not actually get to the middle tree, or I have to really over exaggerate angles to make it work there. But that's the aiming point. So I have a destination point, and it doesn't have to be just the tree. I liked it when it's sunny days because it'll pull this shadow, and the shadow is basically a 35-foot circle. So land it
nice.
into the shadow is a great spot. So I'm not just choosing to land at the basket. I have a bigger landing zone to land in. So what we've talked about is we're using our field work and having a purpose. We're working on a specific shot shape or a specific landing zone and working those discs to land in those landing zones. It's very, very good to go and do that kind of field work. Now, the last thing I'll say when it comes to field work and what you should be working on is don't be afraid to just work with a specific set of discs. If you're doing distance drivers only, limit that type of practice because they require a lot more of your energy to throw. But don't be afraid to just do fairways and mids only, or putters and mids only. You can get a lot of work out of that, working just with that range of discs and allowing to apply what feels good about throwing fairway drivers and applying that to your mid-ranges. And then same vice versa, mid-ranges to fairways, putters to mid-ranges, putters to even fairways. That kind of stuff can be really, really good to make use of your field work.
Very cool. Thank you so much for that.
Awesome.
Also, I noticed on your Instagram you have a series of field work stuff on there as well.
It's pretty sweet.
It's amazing. Okay, so let's move on to our questions that we have. that we have from our listeners. Guys, as always, go to discgolfanswerman.com, submit your disc golf questions. We will get them on the air. Let's see. The first one is from Elliot on elbow pain. We didn't do this one, right? Nope. I don't think so. Hey, DeGam fam, I have a question about elbow pain. I know you always say you aren't doctors, but I think it might be a form thing. I feel no pain on full power backhands, but if I throw little spinny putter up shots, I feel some twinging in my elbow. I think it might be because I'm using mostly my arm instead of my entire body. What are your thoughts?
Man, it's tough because I would say you should be trying to spin on those approaches. That's exactly what I think about, and I don't have any pain. Um, but when I am doing that, I am trying to incorporate my lower body into my core, still into those throw. I'm never just spinning with just all arm. So um, maybe Calvin Heimberg and myself do this from time to time, where even on approaches we won't ever stand still. We'll still do like this modified like baby step run up and then throw the approach, so it still feels like we're moving in the way that's also still incorporating a run up, but we're slowing down the run up so where there's not as much momentum, but at least you're still transitioning from back leg to front leg.
I'm a big fan of the baby step run up. I rarely stand still anymore unless I'm forced to. And for the same reason that it's easy to just forget that your lower body needs to be involved in the throw that is shorter than you normally throw. We can all throw a 150-foot approach shot really without doing much with our lower body, but should we? No, probably not. I think that's a good way to go about it. One other thing, and this is like Bobby said, we are not medical doctors. I certainly am not. But the times that I've had tennis elbow, so tendonitis of whatever this tendon is, right here, like kind of on the side of your elbow, I took some time off and that helped a lot. But two, I put a band on that sits just below your elbow here, and it kind of puts that tendon back in place. And that helped me a lot. So that'd be something. If you look at, home remedies for tennis elbow, that'll be one of the things that are recommended. That helped me. So it might be something that you try.
I did that because I noticed I was doing that with pickleball. Remember, I started wearing that little wristband thing.
Yeah.
Another thing.
Did it help you?
It did. I mean, it wasn't. It didn't take the pain away all the way, but it helped not have the pain. And then I had to start doing some movement some people recommended. I mean, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it was just like when I was
you hold and pull this way,
and just kind of work it out like that. But I would suggest also going on Facebook, finding, if you're not already part of Disc Golf Strong, post your question there, because Mr. Muncie, Seth Muncie, is excellent at helping people with stuff like that. So just look up Disc Golf Strong and ask that question there, and they'll be able to help you as well. All right, next one comes from Dave. Oh, I don't know if we want to. Dave. Why can men throw farther than women?
I don't know. I mean, I think men in general have larger bone structures and develop muscle a little bit easier. And so I think that's probably the main answer. Now, of course, not every man throws farther than every woman. There are some women that throw super duper far. But yeah, I mean, I think it's the same question in general, why can men, jump higher, run faster? I think it has to do with bone structure and muscular density and ability to
and that comes from a lot of different hormone levels that allow for that to happen, because you take testosterone is a very, very powerful thing that we have abundance of access to as men, and I think that's a big factor in that. And I think you hit on a really good point. Is it's all potential distance,
right?
Because you could take the lengthiest build of person and they have no timing and they're never going to throw the disc very far until they get that down. I mean, Eagle McMahon has no muscle mass, used to have no muscle mass until now. He's worked at it very hard, but had nothing and was one of the farthest throwing people just 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 by his build alone. He was tall, he was lengthy, his timing was really exceptional, and he had good core strength. But he wasn't built. He could do 10 push-ups and then was sore for 3 days, type of thing.
Right.
So what you're getting yourself into is it's all potential distance.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at somebody like Emerson Keith. He's not built for distance, but he is a elite level distance thrower.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But he's kind of tapping out at what he's capable of doing, but that's the most impressive part about him. Same thing goes for Paige Pierce. Paige has incredible mechanics and everything, and then you look at somebody like Katrina Allen, who I would say is probably the most fit of the FBO division, and I wouldn't say she throws hard or aggressive or anything. She throws very clean with good timing and trusts her angles more than most people I've ever seen throw a disc. She's so dialed and she works at it. That's why she throws far. I mean, I watched just to keep running on this, I watched the other day an older gentleman named David, who's 55, I believe he said he was. He's throwing 400 feet pretty comfortably just because he was throwing a MVP wave, and it was in like the 150, 160 class. So another part of it is I think we all have different potentials to throw farther. We don't always, as humans, we don't always choose the right avenues to throw farther. So yeah, it's all
I think
a matter of time of how you work at
I
it.
think yeah, for sure. I think if you want to throw farther, you just try harder. Just like tense,
Totally.
just like tense up a lot when you get ready to throw, and like flex all your muscles, and then you throw farther.
And then grunt. Try that. Too.
And then I'm just saying.
And wince a little bit
Look,
at the end.
Look, I used to be 1,000 rated. Okay, you should listen to me when it comes to things like this. Okay, distance specifically. The main reason I got there, so just think about it, okay?
Yeah. Well, I stayed at a Holiday Inn, so.
Right. All right. That means our qualifications are about the same, actually.
Right, yeah. All right. Next question comes from Tim. I'm having a very specific mental problem on the course, but I can't figure out how to fix it. It's very noticeable on holes 1 and 18 at a local course. Hole 1 is a 412-foot flat ground. I can usually get about 300 to 350, depending on wind, etc. Hole 18 is 290, slight downhill, but I can usually get 250 to 280 feet at best. Now, last time I played there, I came up 20 feet short of 18 and went straight to hole 1 and threw 330-ish on flat ground. It wouldn't bug me that bad, but there's another course I go to at a slightly lower elevation, and I can park a slightly downhill 310-foot hole with a hex. What do?
Are you okay? I have lots of questions, so we're not going to be able to fully answer this. But are you throwing the same disc on those two holes? Is a big one, because if you're just throwing, I mean, even two different ones of the same mold could be enough to make a big distance difference, right? But like I would say fatigue, but if you can go back to hole 1 and throw it farther again, then that is a mystery. Is wind blowing in your face? Yeah, I don't know, man.
Are you grunting?
That's a really curious one. You might, yeah.
Are you tensing up?
Yeah. Are you flexing your muscles enough to throw as far as you can?
Refer back to a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be shape of the hole, like you're talking about, Robert, like of what is causing you to change what's happening on those two holes. And also, I mean, I will keep it real, right, Bobby? But why does it matter much? If you're coming up 20 feet short, That's a 20-footer. So who cares the distance you're throwing?
You're one of those
Because
pros.
What? I
make all my 20-footers.
But
That's what you
here's the
sound
thing:
like.
if I could tell you, it's like, all right, you'll never have to putt outside of 20 feet, like, and that's all you had to do is throw a disc to 20 feet over and over and over again. You'd take that.
Yeah, of course.
You take that. Like,
of course,
I will
I'd
be putting for
fine with
par
that.
or birdie from 20 feet all the time. You're going to be stoked. You're going to be super stoked because you're going to have opportunities. So,
I wonder. I wonder if there's something to do with the distance that the hole is, that you have a mental block that I shouldn't actually throw it as far as I can because the hole's only 280 or 290, whatever you said. I mean, I've come up on 400-foot holes. I've driven it pin high, and then on 300-foot holes, I've come up 30 feet short before, just because of the perception of what the hole is. Maybe it plays a little farther. Like, have you used the rangefinder to test if the distances are accurate? I don't know, man. This is an interesting one for sure.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next one. This one's from Chris. He asks, when releasing a forehand, are you sweeping your lead fingers at and following release? Always appears as though Big Germ is swatting at a bug, but I'm not Big Germ.
So forehands is one of my favorite things to teach, and I've come up with this terminology that I think helps in understanding this, and it's I like to call it the France Football Federation, FFF, but it's follow through forward first. And one thing that happens if I know that I'm pulling through and I follow through and I only focus on forward, it is really difficult for me to then roll my wrist over and push the disc over the top
good.
And go shank and flex. So what happens there is, again, we're trying to look. If you watch Germ, he's never all arming it and coming over the top. What Germ is doing is he's staying very close and compact, and he's releasing the disc on hyzer. And if you watch, his motion is very forward out of his hand. One big thing that Germ is very good at, and a few other players, is it's a lot of wrist action that happens in that. It's a snap that takes a lot to learn to be able to snap and not come over the top. So ways that I did that was I worked with the most understable discs I could find and learned to snap those, because the moment I put power into that and my arms and my everything else got involved, the disc wouldn't fly. So it forced me to work my wrist angles and angle of the disc out of my hand on a forehand. And then the snap is what generated the power to help that understable disc fly. So now when I went to a neutral disc, I could add some level of momentum and push through and get my footwork involved. And that's the same. Now I'm stepping up, and now I'm able to put some power, keeping that wrist snap going, but also working the understable angles. So now that I've gone from a super flippy disc that I couldn't really use my footwork for, is mainly standstill, I now was able to go to adding a small amount of footwork with just the wrist snap. So that momentum plus the wrist snap was able to generate a neutral disc to fly a little bit farther. And then we go to a slightly more stable neutral disc, and that helps us generate even more out of that. So I would say focusing on that follow through forward first and working to generate that wrist snap by working with a lot of understable discs.
Perfect title for that video series.
What?
I know it's coming.
Just F it.
You are the worst.
I mean, more F's in this. We need some F's in the chat now for that one.
F's in the chat immediately. And one thing that's important to realize when you're watching somebody like Big Germ throw is that not only has he been throwing forehands, I guess, I mean, he's got a good backhand, but he's thrown forehands predominantly for like years and years and years. Before that, he was a pretty good ultimate player, if I remember correctly, or at least threw lids a lot. And so when you have that ingrained, you don't have to think about rolling your wrist over. And it probably looks like he does at the end there, but that's just because his timing is so clean.
Yeah.
Super clean. So to look at him and be like, look, I can finish like that. Yeah, you can after throwing that way for 20 years and perfecting it. You know what I mean? Like that's not a great example to look at and be like, oh, I should do it like that. You should get flights like Jeremy does because they are so pure. But to say that you can get in the habit of finishing palm down, I wouldn't.
Yeah. The other part too that comes from he's done it for a long time, and you have to take this as if you can't think about, oh, I can shank and flex a forehand 300 feet easily.
Right.
So I should be able to throw this same type of forehand with like an understable disc the same way. No, what you should start with is throwing that same forehand 150 feet and slowly build yourself back up to being able to throw now that shot 300 feet the same way, because shank and flex is a lot of movement this way with a lot of movement this way, where a straight
that's
one
my kind of forehand
is all this way. So what is actually more useful on a disc golf course? Most disc golf courses, the straight forehand is actually significantly better than the lateral moving forehand. So and just that goes to the straight shot is can be much more deadly than the lateral moving shot, which is why
for sure
that it's one of the hardest shots to throw is a dead straight shot. But it's once you learn it, you can. That's what helps pros get good. All pros can throw a dead straight shot.
So our Emmer33 has a follow-up. Is forehand distance affected as much by form as backhand, or do one's own natural physical abilities put a pretty hard cap forehand on distance?
I think if you're physically strong, like baseball player level stuff, there is potential to throw the disc really far with poor form just because of raw
you
power.
got those ingrained mechanics.
Totally.
Mechanics, yeah.
But
mechanics.
When I'm throwing for distance, I am not throwing the most overstable disc. I am trying to throw, when I'm throwing a forehand for distance, I'm trying to play a disc that will work for me, not against me. So working against me is an overstable disc because I have to push it over for it to fly at all. Where if I take a more neutral to slightly understable distance driver, like I have some beat up Emperors that I've been using right now, where I can hit it really hard with hyzer, like a slight hyzer on a forehand, and trust that I know it's going to just, as it picks up, it's going to peel up and then going to peel over. And that's where I'm gaining my distance because I'm giving it enough airspace and spin that it's going to have that energy to peel itself back and keep pushing forward. So I can't do that from a force over. I have to do that from that slight hyzer. So I think a lot of it comes down to, once you learn the mechanics, it's now about putting the right discs in your hand. Jeremy Colling does not throw a super overstable destroyer for distance. He throws a beat up Wraith or a beat up Destroyer or something that he's put time into and worked in.
For sure.
Next one comes from Morgan. This is actually about the Disc Golf Answerman podcast network. Hey, Bobby, I heard you mention that you're looking to expand into a Disc Golf Answerman podcast network. I'm totally interested in joining the team. Idea of all. Oh, maybe I don't want to tell his idea, so other people don't take it.
Yeah, hold off on his idea.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, good thing I caught myself.
Good catch.
So yeah, Morgan, Leonard, if you're
Look,
listening,
the idea is for listeners to submit questions.
Yeah.
Okay. And then like I'm gonna answer them as I see fit.
As I see fit. Whether that answer
so-
be true or false, or helpful or not helpful.
I'm just gonna say what I want to. Sometimes it'll involve tacos. It's a totally novel idea.
Yeah, that's not the point. The point is not to get the correct answer. It's just simply to answer. So Morgan, you didn't leave any contact information for you as far as talking this over with you. Yes. So just to explain Disc Golf Answerman Network, we've got the Night Owls, which now I have it right. Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast.
Nightly Owly podcast.
The Morning Sparrow Podcast.
Golfly podcast.
The Evening Birds.
Evening Birds. No, some Shane and Jeremy from Door Disc Golf put together a podcast. I listened to a couple of their episodes, and it's pretty good stuff, guys. And I helped them get started. I talked them through it, told them what equipment to get. and just kind of coach them along a little bit, and working with them to be able them to tap into the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group. But so that's why I'm starting a little Disc Golf Answer Man podcast network. If you're interested, let me know. Reach out to me. You can DM me on Disc Golf Answer Man on Instagram, and we can talk a little bit more, because his idea actually is pretty interesting. So I would like to see about exploring that idea. All right, let's go to this question. No, before we go to this question, we got Chaser sent us a speak pipe, and I believe I have it all set up for everybody to hear. Let's hope that I remembered how to do this correctly. Here we go.
What's up, Bobby? Cool Daddy, Slick Breeze, Eric, the best thrower of the bite, Oakley, and Robert, pew, 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 McCall. This is Shay from Philly with a question about field work. Mentally, I am really struggling, guys. Out in the field, I am like, highlight reel. I use a soccer field for my field work, and I could hit the crossbar if I wanted to. Like, I am immaculate in the practice field. I cannot get it to translate to the course to save my life. I have no idea, and I know mental is kind of the hardest part of the game to fix because it's between the ears. It's really rough. So, just kind of looking for tips on how you take what you do on that practice field and put it on the course. If you have any, kind of things you walk through, any mantras you chant, any kind of like, pre-flight checklists you go through, would really appreciate it. Kind of stinks, putting all the work in and not getting it to pay off where it matters. So any help you can offer, I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you as always. Keep it real.
Thank you, Chaser. What do you gentlemen have for him?
What do you think, Eric? I'll follow you.
Yeah, I would say push for a better split of the amount of rounds you're putting in between your fieldwork sessions. So if it's hard to translate to do fieldwork, then go play a round of golf the next day. Then do fieldwork and then a round of golf. So you're able to take what you practice and immediately put it to apply it to the golf. Generally, if I'm doing a lot of field work, I like to do a like 2 to 3 days in the field with 1 day at the course. But if I feel like, similar situations where I don't feel like things are translating, this is a great way to all right, I need a couple more days at the course. I need to be playing some more rounds of golf to help this stick a little bit more. Another part is when you go and play your rounds. And or when you're when you go and play your rounds, you just need to use it as not for score, not for anything. It's to be working on what you've applied, what you're trying to apply from what you've found out in the field. That instantly helps you kind of have less pressure, so you can start to apply it by being on a tee pad and throw an actual line through the woods or whatever may come.
Yeah. And something that's important to think about when taking something from the field and trying to incorporate it on the course is that score is not the main indicator of the success of your work, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go out to do that, you've been working on your distance and look, let's say if you finally hit 400, you're like, awesome. There are these 3 like 410-foot holes and I've never gotten close to them. I know that I know I'm going to get close to them this time. And let's say you birdie two of the 3. That's awesome. But you don't play very well the rest of the course and you shoot, 1 over when you're used to shooting a few under. That's not a failure of a day. Like, you've incorporated something that you've worked on. So don't use score as the main indicator of your success there. But one other thing that I would say is if you can create, this is the way that I try to maintain and build confidence, is I've created like a mental like bank of great shots that I've thrown that I could see, just like I'm standing on the tee pad right now. I remember it that vividly from when I threw that shot. And if I see a hole that I'm uncomfortable with, I try and go to the shot that for me is the closest to that and then throw that shot. Because I've been there before. I take myself out of this situation. I pick a target that's applicable to where I am. And then I say, I want to throw this shot. And then that's what I try to execute, especially if it's something that I'm a little uneasy about. that does two things for you. One, it takes the pressure out of the situation that you're currently in, because you don't feel like you're on a hole that's giving you trouble. You feel like you're in a place where you've thrown a great shot. But two, I think successful mental images are something that are vastly underutilized in disc golf. And when you're drawing from that and you do execute, it ingrains that vision in your head even more deeply. So the next time I need to throw one of those shots, not only can I look back to my first shot that I threw that was just like that, I can think about this shot. Hey, and I repeated it on this hole. And I can see if it like here, a great example for me is there's a course here north of Austin called Williamson County Park, and there's a par 5 on the course that is kind of like S-shaped, and you've got to throw super straight off the tee to give yourself any chance. And I mean the fairway is tight, especially once you get to the landing zone. And man, the last time I played there, I hadn't played in a long time, but I threw an escape. And I just smoothed it. And I promise you, it's the best drive I've had on that hole ever, throwing whatever disc. So anytime I think about, let's say I'm afraid of like a tight, super straight shot, that's the one that I go to in my mind and say, look, this is the shot I want to throw. I remember it like it was yesterday. That's what I'm going to do. And I think that helps a lot. So create that bank of great shots, and those can be fieldwork shots too. Truly, like Eric was saying, if you pick your spot, you throw right over the top of it. Remember how that feels. Remember what it looks like, and then use that as reference when you're on the course. So that's what I would say. The positive mental pictures are more important than I think anyone gives them credit for, especially at the amateur level.
All right, so that's all
Nice.
the time we have for the questions. We're going to talk about our little topic that we like to talk about, what's going on in the world of disc golf. And really right now what's happening is more player sponsorship announcements. We got Gannon Burr re-ups with Prodigy for 2 years. Casey White is back with Discmania for 2 years. Boy, that Gannon Burr, he's a good kid. I remember seeing him at Junior Worlds. Good kid, good player. Always, I don't want to like... I was going to sound like an old guy when I was gonna, but he's always polite. He's always, like a gentleman and says hi and, and everything, how are you doing and stuff
Right.
like that. So he just seems like a really good kid. So it's kind of cool to see him excel like at what he's doing. Let's see. Ella Hansen extends her with Discmania. 2 year. And then, of course, everybody, I'm sure, I can't remember if was this announced before last? Was Chris Dickerson's leaves Prodigy? Was that talked about? Last time I can't remember the time.
Not
No,
before
okay.
last time. That was this week.
Yeah, so he has left. Prodigy has yet to announce his new sponsorship. Now I did see a post with him where he's selling a lot of his old Prodigy stuff, so it'll be exciting to see. Of course, Chaser early on said that there was a sighting that someone saw him driving the Discraft RV, so that's obviously a possibility of that happening. So it'll be exciting to see what happens. I'm going to look at the old player track.
Ricky hadn't been announced before.
Oh, that's right. We had
last one.
We knew Kona, right? Because we
knew Ricky was coming. Like everybody knew
Right,
at that point. But
right. Someone actually asked.
That's a big deal. That's a huge payday for Rick.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Oh, the other thing that was interesting was I didn't know until the press conference was that his signing bonus, $250,000, was in Bitcoin.
In Bitcoin.
That's
Dude,
something.
If I'm him, I just never touch that.
Oh yeah, no, never.
Just leave it.
That's like something in what 10, 15, 20 years maybe it'll pay off and be huge.
I mean, assuming that it remains deregulated, yes.
Yeah.
If the government gets its claws into it and taxes it like other forms of currency, it'd be a little bit different. But yeah, it's a little interesting that it happened, but. Like I said, if I'm him and somebody hands me Bitcoin, I say thank you, stashed away, never thinking about it.
That's so interesting.
Just let it grow.
So interesting. But this whole decentralizations of things is such a big topic, such a big thing as we move forward, as we move into the future, as far as how things are going to happen.
Did you mention Haley King?
Haley King. That was just today,
she
right?
announced today, huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
today.
just today on her YouTube channel.
I didn't see that earlier.
I didn't
And
see it much until somebody mentioned Chaser sent me it, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know they were announcing. I didn't know she really had a YouTube channel, but great to see. It's big for her. I think
yeah,
it's a good
Mhm.
move where, especially, I mean, she's coming over there and being the top female, in my opinion, on the team with no other Pro Tour winners being on the team anymore.
Yeah.
Essentially,
If
am I
if
am I
if
am I missing
Evelina
somebody?
and well, if
Yeah,
Evelina and Henna make the trip, I mean they'll be right
up
up there.
oh yeah,
But
for
contenders for
sure.
sure.
oh yeah, but as far as the American side goes, yeah, you're 100%.
All right, so something that has Nico posted anything or any kind of clues or hint to where he
No,
might be going? Do you think he's going
not
to
that I've
stay
seen.
I don't think I think he's gonna go on a season unsponsored like
Yeah.
he did
like he had
before he was with
before, right?
Westside.
Yeah.
I don't think
Hmm.
he needs it. I mean, if anything, he'll say he's signed with Gateway or something where he's back to putting wizards and can throw destroyers or
Yeah.
whatever he feels like. I know he was in that video with Luke and Cat. He was throwing a destroyer there, and honestly, Nico's one of those people that it's it's tough because he has been with Innova before. He has been with a couple other companies before, so it leads him to a spot. It's like, do they would they want him? Would an MVP or would they want him? Would Prodigy even want him? Type of things. All these come down to it. It's like, and also Nico has to want to be a part of those companies as well. So it's not just on
Right.
both sides. Like Nico has to choose that because Nico is incredibly worth it to a lot of companies and what he can bring to the table. You just have to understand that there's a lot more that comes with Nico. Is I think
Yep.
the biggest part of Nico. So
Yeah,
is
it's a bit of a dice roll on what's going to come with it because you know that you're getting an elite player. Like Nico is no doubt a fantastic thrower of the disc. He's going to be up there at the top. He'll probably get a win or two. Um, After that, what else comes? That's the question. You know,
mm-hmm.
will you have PR issues to deal with? Yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, he's a very interesting character in disc golf right now. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, as far as play goes, like you say what you want to about him taking a long time. I think that horse has been beaten dead, but he is a darn good thrower of the disc for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, Gannon Burr also
Same.
not
Yep.
great with his time, but I know he's aware of it. Nico's aware of it, but has mentioned that I think he's mentioned to a few people that he doesn't even realize that much time has gone by when he's going through and taking time to putt. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy that he's like, really, that was
It's
like
interesting.
45 seconds. It felt like 5 seconds in his brain. So it's a crazy concept. So I I'm over the Nico taking a lot of time. Like, I mean, there's other players out there. Philo Brathwaite comes to mind of players who uh, are on the slower side. And there are more. It's not just the usual suspects. There are plenty of players who do take more time than most on tour. I can get past that, and I think we're kind of getting to a point of that. Of it's a little bit more. Well, again, it just doesn't even need to be. We don't need to be calling it. It just needs there needs to be marshals, but that's a whole other discussion. But
Right.
the point is that Nico is more what you have with Nico is he's going to show his emotions. He's going to. It's not
Yeah.
like he's ever going to be. He's not going to be Michael Johansson on the course. He's never
Right.
going to be MJ, where you are going to get nothing when something goes bad. It's like you're going to get the highest of highs and the lowest of lows from Nico. So it's like you just kind
Yeah,
of
you're gonna get something.
yes. So I think that's just again why Nico is great, and those are the things that I think define him a little bit more than the time thing. The time thing is just a funny thing now at this point, but when he's at his lowest of lows, you just hope that he stays somewhat grounded because that's
Yeah.
where I don't want to see Nico go too far off and hurt himself or do something that causes him from not being able to play. I think that's
Right.
one of the parts that we would never want to see. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the other one is, of course, Katrina Allen. She hasn't
Posted.
made any sort of announcement or anything like that. So I'm sure that
we
I'm sure that
didn't
they're probably
we didn't
also.
talk about it the other week either. Andrew Marweed going to DGA. I don't know if we touched on that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
oh, yeah.
That's great for him.
Yeah.
That's really great for him.
I wonder if
But
some
yeah,
of these
Kat
other ones,
is-
like Katrina's, like are waiting until the other announcements are made, so that they're just not right on top of each other.
They could
Or
be
maybe
doing
some contract stuff
videos.
going on. Or yeah, they could be doing
Yeah.
videos, so to make proper announcements and stuff like that. So I'm sure we'll hear something very soon. Interesting though, I see quite a few people, not quite a few, but just a handful of people signed with EV7. EV7 right now is only putters. I know when I look at their site that it says that Phil has plans to develop a disc golf destination manufacturing property, but is there any other signs of other molds coming out besides just the one putter?
They have two.
Oh, two.
they
The
have two.
Penrose and the
And the
Phi.
Fee.
Or Fee. Phi,
Fee,
faux
Phi.
foam.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fee.
I made that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if anybody has. So the last question is actually has to do kind of with all these different sponsorships, and so it'd be interesting for us to talk about this.
do it.
He says this is from Steve. All the talk about pros jumping to different sponsors and how much they're getting paid. I've got another question to ask. In any sport, staying healthy is key, but what an injury? Or I think it means what if an injury happens? Are the pros totally responsible for all medical bills? Do the sponsors help the players with some type of health care coverage?
That's probably all worked into specific contracts. We're getting to the point where a lot of us are starting to ask for those things in contracts, and some companies will do it, and some other companies may not, but they might compensate you to get your own coverage in different ways, I think is what we've seen a lot of. I would imagine for the majority of disc golfers, it is on them to cover it, because it's difficult for a company to actually offer it because if they offer. Go ahead, Bobby.
No, I'm sorry. You were gonna. I think you were gonna say the point I was gonna say.
Yeah, because they're not.
No, you got
it's
it.
hard to.
No, you got
hard
it.
To be
you got it.
It's,
no, you got it.
It's fine. No, hold on. I have to take this. So, no, Bobby, you got it.
You got it.
So it's difficult for companies to offer that to disc golfers, to touring professionals, because they're not hourly employees. I guess is a part of it, is a small part of it, is why it's difficult, because they're not in-house, in office, getting those logging hours at work.
With the whole in-network, out-of-network probably playing part too, because as a
absolutely
touring pro, you're not going to be in the same
have a
state
health
as
provider.
the company. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's more
in
expensive.
this location.
Yeah, that's more
too.
expensive. So, I mean, it's just like me. I'm pretty much self-employed right. I am. I'm self-employed right now, and so none of the people that I contract with are going to pay my health insurance. So I'm responsible for my own health insurance. So, you know what? No, I won't go down the road. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode.
No, it's not. I haven't even told you what diss I like.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Okay. Yes. Let's. What discs are you trying this week, Eric Oakley?
God, you are the worst.
So this one's a kind of an easy one that I've been throwing for a while now. This is the P Blend Alpaca. I've been hyped on this as my go-to putting putter. I guess I'll spoil the building the bag. This is what I'm choosing. This is what I'm going with. As a disc goes, if you've wanted something like a P2, the P-line P2s, then look no further. This is as close as you're ever going to get to a P2 and have the original P2 mold. So if you have been trying out the new one in Sweden and it's not what you're looking for, and you're having trouble finding the Innova made P2s, grab an Alpaca. You will not be disappointed. I have a lot of cool things coming with the Alpaca. I use the D blend for throwing, but the P blend is exactly what I've been loving for putting. Clean release. Once I figure out once I figured out the grip and everything, the flight is absolutely wonderful. Robert, you would like these as well. I know that you were.
Do you like them? I don't like them.
Well, I know you liked that KC Aviar that you had.
I'm only joking. Oh yeah, for sure.
So I feel like this would be an option, but it might be a little more stable than you're looking for. But alpacas are dope. I'll make sure you get some to try out because you should.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm in.
And then the other disc is the Thought Space Athletics mantra. I've been rolling this ethereal blend, um, and it is a very understable disc for me. But I also have felt that it's incredibly good for some control sidearms. I've been throwing it for some bigger, higher, like late turning shots, but mainly for rollers. I feel like I get really good distance from it. This replaced my Thief immediately, and I think is a touch faster, so I can get a little more distance out of it, but I can still get those quick rollers if need be. So this has been a really good one. They're hard to find right now, but there is more on the way from what I've talked about with TSA. And I would suggest this as a disc that anybody can be throwing, because for me it's a flippy understable disc that am using for rollers and utility shots. But for a lot of other players, I could see them using it as a hyzer flip disc. Like this would, no offense to you, Bobby, I think you would love this disc. I think it's very, it resembles a Renegade a lot, and I know you've talked.
I'm offended.
Offended.
I'm offended.
I knew
Well,
you were offended, Bobby.
I'm offended.
But I know it does a lot of Renegade-like things, so I think that would fit your speed and your gameplay really, really well. You give it a little bit of hyzer and get nice stand up without having to try too hard, kind of thing. So I can't get you any right now, so because they're mine. They're all mine. Also, people are talking about the Votems or the Glowdoms. I threw a Glow Votem the other day. It is much more overstable than the Ethereal or Nebula or anything or any Ethos Votems that I've thrown. So I absolutely would suggest it if you need a wind fighting like 7 or 8 speed fairweight disc, like, and it's really, really good. So it's like an overstable Thunderbird or overstable T-Bird, like kind of, it's like almost like a Banshee and how overstable it is, but it's not as like,
Yeah.
but still flies. Like I feel like a Banshee had low glide wear, so it's pretty nuts. Reese Powell, the mantra is very similar to the Essence. I would probably say it's faster though. So yeah, lots of good discs out there.
Good deal. All right. Thank you so much for the show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to do a quick little after show for the Patreon listeners. We just had a couple more come in. I want to give a big shout out to...
You tell him, Bobby.
To Shane and David, our most recent Patreon supporters. So we'll do a quick after show for them, after show for them, not to be confused with the Smashbox TV after show.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Bye.